Hello and welcome to another episode. This is episode 4 of Elden Ring Taking Names, and this is my playthrough of Elden Ring, and I'm playing this on PC on an i9-10900K and an RTX 3070. Performance is pretty good. In the last episode, we left off with having beaten Godric the Grafted inside Stormvale Castle, and we have his great rune, Godric's great rune, and now we have to put it in the Divine Tower of Limgrave to access its powers. So that's what we're doing here. We have to do these giants again because I didn't realize they respawned. So we have to defeat all 3 of them. Then we're gonna go and ride up this elevator inside this tower. And I do really like how massive these towers are. They are really something to behold, and even when you get up the top there, it is a very nice view. I love these elevator rides up because it almost feels like every time there's this anticipation of not knowing what's going to be up there, or in some cases what's going to be down there if you're going underground. But you need to restore this rune to use its powers, and it gives you a boost in all of the attributes. I believe it's all of the attributes. Now, going back to Liurnia of the Lakes, which is the next area after Stormvale Castle. This is near the southern part to the west, and this is the Malefactor Evergaol, and it's just a bit of a mini boss. They have these Evergaols around just so that you fight some more bosses. This guy isn't too difficult. He has a couple of wide radius attacks like this fireball that you see here, and so you got to avoid that. But aside from that, you can pretty much hit him when he goes for a hit. So you can almost trade blows with him if you're strong enough. And actually I find that if during the early part of the game, because you only need 1 golden seed for each extra flask of health potion, you can get your flasks, well, if you can get your health potions pretty quickly. So I think I had like 6 or 7 here, and that was plenty for this fight. It does get a little bit harder later on because you need 2 golden seeds or 3 golden seeds for every flask. So later on, you don't get as many health potions. But I think even at the moment where I am now, I'm like level 65. Not in this video though. In this video, I think I was around level 30 or level 40. But I'm up to level 65 now, and I only have 8 potions. I feel like that's plenty for getting around and getting to the next side of grace. So it almost feels like as long as you can make it to that next side of grace and replenish your flask, that's all you really have to do. And I do believe that in this game, the side of graces are a lot more generous, or they're a little bit closer, or there are less enemies in between. So I think that's a good thing, because the game is hard, but it's nice that you don't have to repeat massive sections of the game again. Now this bit here is on the eastern side of Liurnia of the Lakes, and you can just sit back and watch this troll kill all of the soldiers if you wanted to, or you could get in there and fight him as well. I think it makes more sense to get in there and try to even it up a little bit, even though these soldiers will also try and fight you sometimes. Now initially I was going to make this video about Raya Lucaria Academy, but as I was actually editing this, I decided there was just so much content that even 6 or 7 minutes into this video, I wasn't even at Raya Lucaria Academy. So I decided to just save that for the next episode. There's so much content in that legacy dungeon anyways. So I do hope you all join me for the next episode. Now I'd say this giant, or this troll, definitely is tougher than the ones we faced off in Stormhill. He definitely has more hit points, and he is a lot tougher as well. And he uses a lot of his attacks, whereas I think the ones that are more docile, especially the ones carrying the caravans, they just don't seem to do as much. They do a bit of stomping around, but they're pretty easy to avoid. Whereas this troll here, he really keeps on attacking. But as you can see, he's just about dead there. Okay, with that done, we're going to continue making our way to Raya Lucaria Academy, because that is the second legacy dungeon. And on the way there, you do need to stop off at a place called the Academy Gate Town, because that's where you're going to get a map piece, which is the on that post behind this site of graves right here. So don't forget to grab that map. So the fight all the way up to Raya Lucaria Academy is pretty lengthy. So you have to fight your way through this Academy Gate Town with these weird alien-like creatures. They look a little bit different to everything else that has been in this game since then, but apparently they're demi-human, whatever that means. There are also some skeleton enemies as well, which are pretty difficult because they wield some magic. And once you have a couple of these skeletons firing these skeletal skulls at you, it can get pretty tricky to fight them. And I would advise maybe some ranged attack like I'm doing here. But you can't just fight ranged the whole time, because you need to actually kill the skeleton one more time. Otherwise, they come back just like they did here. So you need to hit them one more time after they're down. So you do need to get in there. And as you can see, I don't think I hit him. So you do need to hit him one more time. So you're going to end up at this big long staircase here that leads up to the Raya Lucaria Academy gate area. And there's really no two ways about it here. I think the only way is to just go all in, go gung-ho. And here I'm going to ride my horse up these stairs and try to get behind this flamethrower. And I just felt like if I could just get behind those guys, I would be able to take a couple of them out first before the other soldiers come and attack me. And there are going to be a couple of soldiers that come and attack me now. But even fighting a couple at a time is really difficult, especially when they have magic and they can hit you 2 or 3 times, and they can also hit you from the back as well if you manage to end up between them. I think I got a little bit lucky there where I was able to backstab the guy and be invincible for a little bit. Sometimes it's weird because you don't know if your shield is going to block the attack or you're going to get hit by the attack. But those are the type of things where if you continue to raise your stats, you're less likely to not be able to block the attack. But after you do that, you can just run around this area, be a little bit stealthy, and just take all of them out. And then what that's going to do is that's going to leave you one-on-one with this big giant green head flame-throwing thing on wheels. I don't even know what you would call it. But if you do that, then you can fight this guy one-on-one. I don't even know if you can call it a guy, although there is a guy sitting in the back driving this monstrosity. Now, this was the first time I fought this enemy, so I didn't really know how powerful he was going to be and how damaging his attacks were. So I really was just trying to avoid getting hit, and I don't know if it's going to come up, but I think I only had 1 potion left. So I didn't want to go all the way back to the side of grace and replenish. As you can see, I've got 1 health potion left. So I was just trying to take him down without losing any health, and I was too scared of getting one-shotted by this enemy, so I was trying to avoid him a lot. And I managed to get him stuck here at this balcony area, and he managed to get out of it, but he was stuck there for quite some time. but I didn't want to get too close to him because if I did that, he might use his flamethrower. Eventually, he became unstuck once I went around, and that wasn't too bad of a thing because I just snuck up on him and hit him from behind, and then he died, so it was really easy. Now, this is a map to the Academy Glintstone key, and you can see where I died on this map. That's where you're going to have to go, to this island here west of Raya Lucaria Academy, to get the key. And this is the only place where you can get it. There's one more place, but it's actually inside the academy itself, so that's kind of no good for now. I don't actually know how to get that one without having to get this key first. There might be a way to get inside without a key, but if you pick up this key, you'll be able to open the gate to Raya Lucaria Academy. Then after that, you can take down this dragon if you want. I'm sure you want to, as I did. But, you know, after taking down the dragon at Aghill Lake, I was no longer that concerned about this dragon. So I knew that it would be a very similar tactic. You just have to go around and hit his legs. And he also staggers, so if you can get him down as well, you can get a couple of free hits. Though he gets back up pretty quick. I tried to get around and hit his head because I believe that actually does more damage, but he got up too quick for me. And really you have to just avoid getting swiped like that because he can hit your horse. If your horse dies, you do have to use one health potion to regain your horse back, which is very much worth it in this fight because I think the horse is really essential. Because the dragon, he can just jump and fly away, and then you have to go and chase him after that, so it's just a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to avoid the dragon flame as well. And you can see here, it's hard to catch up to him if you're doing it on foot. So it wasn't that hard of a fight. As you can see, I've got 5 flasks of Crimson Tears left, and he's down to almost a third of his health. I think the biggest issue really is that you don't have a block button while you're on your horse, like you can't use your shield. But effectively your horse is kind of the shield anyway, because the horse also has its own health bar. So there you can see, there's not really much that you can do. I suppose you could jump and try to get out of the way, but really you can just go in there and start hacking away at its legs and try to get as much as you can off. And I tried to avoid him there, but it gets tricky. Also, if you can stagger him like I've just done there, then you can take off a huge chunk of his health, and he dies pretty quickly if you can do that. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that look at the road to Raya Lucaria Academy, and in the next episode we're going to look at the academy itself. You don't want to miss it, so make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.